Well, it's definitely not the nicest day today. It's not horrible. I definitely am appreciating this in full enclosure today, even though some of the zippers are all shot to hell and it needs some help. We'll get to that when we get to that, but for now, it's keeping the rain on the outside and the us on the inside.
Hi there, I'm Matt, and this is my wife Kim and our daughter Aria, and we have decided to become live-aboard sailors. I know, we're nuts, but we think we're in good hands.
Steer the boat to starboard!
A little bit of an update on the hatch project in Aria's V-berth. It turns out that I made a critical error in I didn't check the expiry date of that Dow 795 that I used, and the interweb tells me now after the fact, when you search that specific topic, that Dow 795 is quite critical to not have it be too old because it doesn't set. Each of the hatches has like a sort of like a silver foil bubble wrap type thing that goes on the inside to, help with condensation, insulation, as well as block a bunch of light. And those are held on with like little suction cups to the inside all the hatches. And last night when I put my thumb against one of those suction cups and pushed on it, I pushed the entire lens right up and out of the hatch. So that is not ideal, because that means that unset sealant all needs to come off, all needs to start completely over again, basically. So last night when we saw that the forecast had changed to rain, Kim and I spread out a bunch of plastic that we found aboard. I don't know if that's why it's aboard, but we definitely spread it out all over the deck to keep all of the leaky hatches and the leaky port lights covered so that we didn't get wet in the night last night. It ended up not raining last night, but it did start raining, lightly. I guess drizzle is what I would call it, here about an hour ago, so, mid-morning or so. So I'm glad we got the plastic all done yesterday. I really hope the wind doesn't kick up and that it can stay there and be good. We're looking like it's supposed to rain, most of the day today, through the night and all day tomorrow as well. So hopefully our plastic shielding holds up and we can get back to the port lights and hatches project next week when it's supposed to be quite a bit nicer weather again. Alright, turn this off. So one of the things that the surveyor had suggested that needs doing on this boat is the Dripless packing gland for the main drive shaft. Is totally fine at rest. Is totally fine up to about 18, 19, 2,000 RPM, somewhere in that area. And then anything above that, it leaks relatively badly, more than we want it to. So as per PYI PSS website how-to videos, it was suggested that I could use wet dry or wet sandpaper, 600 grit, and sand between the collar and the actual dripless face. And it could be like a corrosion thing, like a scale type thing, which there is a decent amount of scaling and whatnot on there. So that is exactly what we're working on this morning. For those of you that don't know how these work, basically this is my main drive shaft. That's the coupling that connects it to the transmission, which is right there. This bellows shaped piece, like an accordion, is basically a heavy rubber spring that is pushing this piece that's underneath this ring, and you can see just the angled face of it right here where you would be able to if there wasn't so much corrosion right there, or scaling rather. So that rubber piece, there's a sort of a tube that sticks out of the boat underneath these two hose clamps, and this rubber is clamped onto there. And then the other end of the rubber is clamped onto, it says that it's a graphite sealing face on this end of the bellows. And then this stainless steel collar is over top of the shaft. Inside that stainless steel collar, there's a O-ring on both sides to keep leakage from going between the stainless collar and the drive shaft. At rest, this bellows would be longer than it is right now. And what you do to stop the boat from leaking is you loosen these set screws and slide that collar to compress this bellows. I believe, I've read both, I believe it's somewhere between 3/4 of an inch and an inch. If I have to readjust this, I'll do a little more research on that. But basically that spring pressure of this ring shoving against that face and the bellows pushing back against the ring, that is basically what keeps the water out. So if I grab this ring and slide it back extra, I'm sure that you can probably see that the water starts pouring in. So, like I said, right now at rest, it's not leaking. At low cruising RPM, it's also not leaking. But at high cruising RPM, or what should actually be our cruising RPM, it leaks, I don't want to say severely, but it leaks enough to be a problem. So, like I said, I've sanded this face. Actually, I had done the sanding process twice before. That was now 3 times round with the sandpaper. And we are going to leave it at that. Okay, so I got most of the corrosion off the top side, or not corrosion, I keep saying corrosion, scaling off the top side, but I can feel that there's still quite a bit on the bottom. I can't get the brushes or the picks, or can't sand very well down there, so we've decided that we're going to loosen the 2 hose clamps onto the shaft log, and we're going to roll the whole PSS over so I can get to the other side. Kim's freaking out. I don't know if you can see her in the mirror. She's freaking out a little. I'm freaking out too, but we're really gonna learn how to do these things one way. Usually it's the hard way, but hopefully not this time. Again, with the not a whole hell of a lot more than hand tight. There you go.
Drippy.
It's gonna be leaking and stuff as we work on this scale anyway, so. Obviously, I'm trying to be as gentle as I can be with this graphite piece. Definitely don't want to like break a big chunk off of it, so I'm not really using a whole lot of pressure here. I feel a little bit like a dentist, actually. Okay, so now we need to get some water out of this bilge so that we can tell if that's leaking. Right now it's like third underwater. All right, well, so we're significantly descaled. Like I said, I managed to roll that PSS gland all the way over and clean all the scale off the underside of the graphite part. I managed to get it all put back together again, and it's leak-free. So it was always leak-free at rest, but now it's back to being leak-free, so that means it didn't wreck anything worse than it was already wrecked before. So that's good news. And by the way, the only way that I can actually test this is to get the boat out at high cruising RPM. So that's something that's going to need to happen in the not too distant future. All right, the plan is to wash the dinghy. Oh, by the way, we named the dinghy Dingus. Dingus the dinghy. I think it's hilarious. Yeah. Can you go up in that cooler on the starboard side and grab the
Dingus the boat. Daddy letting down Dingus. Boat riding! Woohoo!
got my crappy flip-flops on. Yep, get low.
There you go.
There you go.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Never looked like a dog.
Bye, Mom. Bye.
Bye, family.
Bye, guys. Bye. See you. Bye. See you later. Bye.
Show off fishies like that. Ooh, another fishy jumping. I saw that one out of the corner of my eye. Oh my goodness, that one was so
It was
close.
like right there.
Probably because we're not paddling.
Another boat coming in. Could be it.
Jeez Louises.
Push, down, pull. Why is it so hard? I got us all the way out here. What kind of rowing is this? Yeah, down, pull. It's fine. Oh, big wave. Here comes huge wave. Oh my goodness. Oh, the wake. Oh, we've been waked out. Oh no.
I'm stopping it.
So, point us that way. There you go, yeah. No, you did it right the first time.
I know. I didn't mean to
Push.
do that.
Yeah. One more. No.
Oh, not.
What's your coordination like? There you go. Another big wake.
So,
There you go, yeah. There you go. Now you're
you're
good,
just
then.
doing it with my body.
Yeah.
One, two,
A little harder with your right hand. You're better with your left than you are with your right, so we're turning that way slowly. Harder with this one. Yeah. There you go. Now we're moving. There you go. Now you're getting it. It seems it takes a little practice, right?
not much though.
Oh, you got this. Oh my god, all fell apart. Oh no, that's it, we're done.
I wasn't even in the
You
water.
almost fell over. You almost fell back because you pulled so hard.
I went, but I wasn't even in the water. Nope.
Pull. There you go, pull. Pull. And the hardest part is getting going. Once you're going, then you don't have to pull quite so hard.
Count how many I'm doing.
5, 6, 7.
Aw, I did 7 though.
7 is the max.
What boat?
That boat.
Oh, the little mini pink boat.
Oh, smart.
Daddy's getting creative how he's putting it in the water.
Nope,
Say,
nope. I'm scared.
Yeah, it's floating.
Oh, reverse that, kiddo. Oh,
A little bit.
oh there.
Why are you turning?
Making it go straight. What you doing?
Riding
Where are you driving?
my boat.
That little boat?
I like going in circles.
All right, so it turns out that there is a bit of an update on this whole V-berth front hatch situation. I'm sure you probably remember that we had talked about all of this has been rebed. The lens in the frame has been rebed, and when I went to put the insulation piece that goes on the inside of this lens back on, like 24 hours after we had caulked it all, when I pushed on the lens popped straight up and out and separated from there. So we had done some research at the time, and it looked like the caulking probably was expired, but what it turns out is that there's a pretty good chance that it didn't have enough time to cure was actually probably the problem. So we just sprayed this whole thing down with a ton of water. We hit it with a garden hose that would be like equivalent to, like a really serious storm, and we can't get this thing to leak at all, even though it was pushed out part way, mostly along the back edge is where it separated and then clapped back shut again when I let go. So we hosed all this down and it didn't leak, so we're gonna leave it be for now, and we're going to move on to the salon hatch, because the starboard side salon hatch leaks worse than this one ever did. So we're going to move on to that one, and we're going to leave this one be for now. It is a little bit of a race against the weather. I do occasionally feel like the tiniest little spit of rain every once in a while, but we're going to roll the dice on that other one, and we have plastic if we need to. So yeah, go figure. Got within minutes of applying the caulking to this hatch, and what's been looking like threatening weather all day turned into a rainstorm. I mean, a rainstorm would be an exaggeration, but it did start raining enough that I had to cover everything in plastic and possibly have to wait till later or another day. Yet to be determined. So, alright, so lighting's a little weird, but it's dark now. It also is clear and I can see the moon and the stars, so I'm going to quickly caulk this and put this lens back in. We just looked at the weather forecast, and it is supposed to start raining tomorrow evening, and the following day we're supposed to get 39 millimeters of rain, so I really want to get this lens installed before we get that. So let's get her done. All right, so that is done. Didn't take too long. Well practiced from the time before, but that's all done, and we're gonna roll with that and hope that it ends up even better than the first one we did, because this sealant is definitely not outdated. So yeah, we're gonna take a look at it tomorrow and go from there. You have a good night. All right, well, that was a fairly interesting night. It started to blow pretty good. We actually, I don't think, filmed any of it. I'm not really too sure why. I think I was a little bit stressed about the state of the boat and the future of keeping it afloat and all those things. And but it started to blow pretty hard, like in the early evening, mid-evening last night, and it blew all the way up to, I think the highest I saw on the wind indicator was, yeah, like 50 kilometers an hour. I'm not sure what that converts to in knots, but it was really windy, and the boat was rocking and rolling. We had to add some extra spring lines and change the way we were tied to the dock. And then it was forecast to start raining at about 4 o'clock. It drizzled through the evening, basically, but it would pour at about 4 o'clock this morning. I got up multiple times last night just to check on things because the boat was rocking around and doing all kinds of stuff. So I'm feeling a little bit tired today.
I slept
Aria and Kim slept great. I got bowls and stuff under the leaks. I think we talked about this, but we do have a few leaky spots that drip water. We do have plastic. We've rebedded those 2 hatches, the one here behind me on that side and the one in Aria's V-berth. So we plastic them, but there's still enough water running down the front of the enclosure and across the deck and whatever else that this starboard side settee still leaks pretty bad. So yeah, it was an up and down and all around night for me and great for everybody else. But it was here a minute ago just absolutely pouring. I suspect it's probably going to again. So I'm actually going to set you folks outside for a little time-lapse action out in the rain. So enjoy the rainstorm, hopefully. See you soon.